Atlanta United sucks.
I'm not as down on the U.S. national team.
Why are you not down? Like, what is your hope for the U.S. men's national team?
We
Like,
have a
World Cup
year.
semifinals.
That's about it.
What?
Really? Still?
You're delusional.
I mean, I don't know because
You're really delusional at this point. Like, I no way.
But you're making a lot of judgments based on a lot lot of nothing games. Like,
Well,
and
right.
we're nowhere close to the final team that will be there.
We're
in the World
1 year,
Cup.
and that nothing team. That team has not gotten any time together, which matters for cohesion, which is what this Gold Cup was supposed to be. Sure, they've been injuries. Des got surgery, all of it, but we're not getting any meaningful games. There's no cohesion.
I saw
Gio Reyna. You know, as far as I know, like, I don't know that I would trust him on the U.S. men's national team.
I saw a hot take that you might appreciate.
Ooh, hot take.
Not for me.
Okay.
This was in The Athletic.
Yep.
It was a hot take that said that perhaps American soccer has finally arrived because all these national teams
I think I
have these problems, right? There's in many of the teams that went on to win the World Cup, they've had, coming into it, some striker refused to play and then he played and had some riff with the coach and they weren't sure about this and weren't sure about that, but they had, some talent and they put them together and they eventually come together and they play well, right? You don't have to be good until the tournament. Right. And if you have talent, which I think we do, and you have a coach who can get it right, which I think we do, right, then, not to say that that's the best way to do things. You'd love to be Spain and win 3 tournaments straight or whatever. But
I think that's where the data, as a data person, would approve, is that being prepared and have a resume of winning is the better approach than just saying, oh, let's just hope that all of our disparate club players who are great players can come together at the last minute with a coach Pochettino who clearly is making some bad decisions right now with some C players. Like, why would you expect him to make better decisions with A players?
But I don't have a problem with him losing a friendly. Like, who cares? Right? Why do you have a problem?
Yeah, I do have a problem with it because it didn't do any of those players any good, Dave. It embarrassed them. Their confidence
that we need better players.
Their confidence is down.
That is true.
Their confidence is down. So that might stop their progression of confidence. It didn't help the fan base believe in anything. But hold on, and also there was a way for that not to happen, to where you could have put in Tim Ream, you could have put in Brendan Aronson, you could have put in somebody else I don't know that was on the bench, and then actually build them up with, like, okay, maybe like a 3-1 loss or 3-2 loss. And that would have been more acceptable, more productive. And we didn't do that. He just made an asinine decision with the C-level team.
I agree with you that I would have probably more integrated some of those C-level players that you want to see whether they could do it with some better players to see that. But there's also an argument to be made. These are, matches with tired people coming off of Europe and nobody cares. And you just throw out all the young players and see if anybody shows you any kind of spark. Just look at them and you don't care about the result. It's like, preseason baseball, right?
That's clearly what he did. It's clearly what he did. Yeah. But at some point,
and if he knows that and the players know that, then it doesn't hurt the psyche of the team.
Then say that. Don't be a sissy, because he's like, I'm not a mannequin. Well, then tell the fans, like, I wasn't trying to win the game.
I'm sorry. You don't lose 4-0 to anybody and not have it affect your psyche somewhat.
Yes.
You can't lose 4-0. No, not even lose 4-0. 4-0 at half.
Yeah, but here's the thing. You can, if none of those players are the players who are going to be in the team when,
Then why are they in camp?
Because he's trying to see if anybody can help us at all.
But he should already know. If they're that bad,
no, he's trying to see if there's 1 or 2 players amongst those who can eventually maybe give us.
I don't think he's the right. He hasn't even talked to Serginho Dest yet.
Oh, he hasn't?
No.
I didn't even see that.
Oh, this is, who knows?
He doesn't communicate to anybody.
Well,
and he's clearly alienating. Like, he's screwed up the communication with Christian Pulisic on the reason he didn't play.
Yeah.
They got off the same page there. Bad communicator. And that's all around.
Pulisic actually has come out and said that what he asked is
that
if he could play the 2 friendlies and not play the Gold Cup. And I think that would have been, if you're the coach and say, look, he needs a rest and I'm going to give him that, let's let him do that.
Well, it wouldn't have embarrassed us for nothing against Switzerland. Right.
Yeah.
So Pochettino is also like, well, he wanted the full team together to be able to train. I don't get that either, because those guys aren't going to be there anyway.
Yeah.
I don't buy it. Like, that's not his team anyway. So none of it makes any sense to me that he's like, oh, I wanted this whole team through the Nations Leagues game and through the Gold Cup. And Christian Pulisic, who I also think should have just done himself a favor and come back anyway and said, hey, dude, I do need a rest, but I'm going to be here.
Right.
And you're going to not run me like crazy during training. I'll be here as part of the team for the morale. Because one thing I will say for Christian Pulisic is he's finally on a year and a half, 2-year run of not being injured. And that's been his biggest cap.
That's good.
Is like soft muscle injury. And if his body's saying, hey, dude, played 50 games this year and 3,000 something minutes. Yeah. I need a break. Yes. Listen to that birdie on her shoulder.
Yeah.
Check. Yes. But he's getting a bunch of shit from Landon Donovan and Tim Howard that he's
Donovan's a guy who took all the time off.
Yeah. Hold on. You know what? You know what? Brendan Donovan, that he's like, he's saying, oh, well, he was having some issues, whether he even wanted to play again. He had some mental health issues. Yeah. That sounds like a damn double-edged sword to me right there. Yeah. Now take care of your mental health. Maybe Christian Pulisic is taking care of his mental health. Okay. Yeah. And he's also like, well, maybe Christian Pulisic is, but I'm going to call him out in front of, and not help the U.S. men's national team. Maybe he's not in mental heallt. Maybe he's just about health. Okay. Not mental health. Like you had problems with, cause you're soft, Landon Donovan. That's what I'm saying.
I mean, Pulisic, I think,
did off. And then he calls out, David Beckham too. That's just the kind of guy that Donovan is.
He's on fire.
Who is he to call out David Beckham? Donovan. Who is he to call out Christian Pulisic? I mean, come on.
It's interesting though, like even Messi, like at times he took some games off and people in Argentina were all in arms and it's going to ruin the whatever, and he doesn't play for the flag anymore or whatever, and then he needed it and he came back and of course he's way good. Now I'm not saying that Pulisic is Messi, but he's
our Messi.
I was about to say for us in our depth, he is Messi.
Yeah. It is very clear that the players in Europe are completely overworked, and for them to come off of that, there's a number of players who played in Europe and are now playing in the Club World Cup, and none of those players are going to get injured because your body just can't handle